Hi, everybody. Welcome to Drag Racing Heritage, which is presented by Drag Racing's Golden Era. It's our latest podcast where we feature nothing but nostalgia racing. Tonight's featured guest will be Tyler Hilton, who is a three-peat on the Heritage Hot Rod Heritage Series Top Fuel winner. He won the series 3 years in a row here. Before we get to that, I have one little piece of business I'd like to take care of, and that is I would like to thank all of you. We kicked off this new podcast series last week with Jeff Manise. He came on, and on all of our platforms, we're at 175,000 views already, and 105,000 of them are on Facebook. And I just want to thank all of you for being here, and I know we wouldn't be able to do what we do without all of you. So I really want to thank you guys for being on board with this, and we're going to keep bringing great content to you. So let's bring on Tyler Hilton now. Hi, Tyler. We're glad that you're here tonight with us, and thank you for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So we try to always tie in history to what we're doing here, and there's a whole lot of history here with you, Tyler. Jim and Allison Lee, your mom, your dad Bobby. You're in a drag racing family, aren't you? Tell me what that has done for you.
Well, it's why we do this, you know. My mom's side of the family raced, and my dad's side of the family, they're both sides of the family are NHRA Lifetime Achievement Award winners for what we've done. So I didn't really have a choice. We kind of waited till I was a little bit older to get into it, but yeah, that's just how it worked out.
Yeah, I forgot John Hilton. I forgot about that. I forgot to add his name in there, and I'm really sorry. I haven't had a chance to talk to you since we lost John. There's a piece of history gone. Sorry to hear about that. We lost Allison also.
Yeah.
It's been a rough couple of years here, hasn't it?
Yeah, it hasn't been the smoothest couple of years, but we've managed.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm glad that John and Allison and them all got to see you race. That's a really cool thing. So, 3 years ago, you were running a big block Chevy, and I watched you grenade that thing down at Bowling Green. Now you're not running that. You guys bought a new car 2 years ago, if I remember right. Where'd you get that car from? Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, we ran the Chevy car for 4 or 5 years, and we ran pretty hard with it. I don't think anyone else is going to run that hard with a big block. We ran 580s with it, which was pretty good for that combination, but it's not 560s, So we had a couple big blow ups, and I wasn't as comfortable in the car anymore, and we had the opportunity to buy the dragster from Michael Bartone, from the Bartone brothers, and that's what we did, and it's been smooth sailing ever since.
That car is definitely performing. Okay, so I got to ask you this. I heard a little story. When your dad went down and went to the hospital down at Bowling Green, I ran over to Bartone's pit and I was talking to those guys. He said your dad showed up with like a briefcase full of cash to buy that car. Is that right?
Yeah, that's how it went. He went up there to New York, and that's how it went down. So that's I don't know. That's just how we got the deal done with some help from family members. So it was just time to make a change. I didn't fit well in that car as well as I wanted, and it was getting to be uncomfortable. We got to the end of the line with the Chevy. We were eating parts just to keep up, and it was just time to make a change. And that combination we ended up buying was a really great proven combination. And it hasn't been easy to manage running it. You couldn't just get it and go. It took some time to get used to tuning it and making it go. We still have problems sometimes with tire shake and smoking the tires. It's a very finely tuned car, and it takes a lot of finesse to make it go.
Well, you guys have done an outstanding job by, getting on board with a new program here. I can't imagine that's easy. I got to ask you that down at Bowling Green 3 years ago, and I'm going to put up a clip of this over the top of this. When you grenaded that thing, I talked to you down in the pits before that, and you said to me, and I quote, I think this is a direct quote. You said, "I'm going to win this thing if I have to blow this car up." And you sure did. Did you get burned? Did you get hurt? Were you okay after that?
No, I was fine. That was the second fire we had. We had that one big fire the year before, which was the big one, and it wasn't that fun. But that second one, I got the fire bottles off, and everything did what it was supposed to. And I hate to have that mentality of blowing them up to win, but it was just we were in the moment, and it just was what we had to do for that particular race.
Well, it was something. I saw that car go up, and I'm like, whoa, I got to get down in the pits and see if he's okay. But anyway, last year, 2024, you guys are on the rampage again, and you walk away with the Nostalgia Top Fuel Championship. What were the highs and lows of last season for you? I mean, Bowling Green, I love filming down there. I don't know what you think of that track, but I love filming down there. It's just the coolest track there is.
Yeah, we love Bowling Green. I mean, it's our closest track to us that we run a Heritage Series race at. It's only 3 hours from the shop, so, and we got a lot of history racing down there with my family and stuff. So, yeah, Bowling Green was a high point. I think Boise was our peak. We were just on it out there. We took us a couple runs in qualifying to get on it, and then once we did, we were in eliminations. We were low ET of every round and just did really great up there. So those were some high points. Some low points. Losing Allison was a big low point for the year. But she'd been having health problems there for a while, and it was time, so we just dealt with it and went right to Reading right after that and won that. So we kind of finished off the year in her honor.
Oh, that's good. What does the schedule look like for you guys this year? Going to run a full schedule, limited schedule? What are you going to do?
Yeah, we're going to go for 4. I mean, we're going to try to. We're getting everyone on board right now and getting some sponsors and stuff nailed down and some money stuff figured out, and just trying to go for 4 and do it one last time, maybe.
So how hard is it in this environment that we're in now to get sponsorship dollars? Is it pretty difficult?
Yeah, it's difficult. And we got some people that are coming on board this year to help us that we're super thankful for, and that's going to help us a lot with mainly travel costs. That's where the big thing is, travel and lodging. Those are the big things that we fight the most. I mean, running the car obviously is expensive, but the travel and lodging is by far the killer. So, and we got to travel out west to run this series mostly. It's mostly a West Coast series. So, but that's what we chose to do. So we can't really complain too much about it.
So you said in the big block Chevy, you guys were eating parts there toward the end of that thing. Are you pretty easy on parts in the new configuration, or how are you doing with that?
Oh yeah, no, we pinch some rings every now and then, and that's about it. we don't nuke it. It's just not how the car runs. We pinch some rings and you cycle parts out. You cycle rod bearings out, you cycle rods out after a certain amount of runs. So that's just comes with the territory. But as far as nuking it and grenading stuff, no, we don't do that anymore.
So how much work how are the chores split up there between you and your dad? And I mean, is he the main engine tuner on this thing? How do you split that all up?
Yeah, me and him kind of co-tune it. I mean, I do the clutch, so, and the motor makes the power and the clutch gets it to the ground. So we're going to try some different things this year, some fine-tuned stuff with the clutch and with some aerodynamic stuff that we're trying differently. So we co-tune it. We fight a little bit about it every now and then, but it works. It works out in the end.
Your dad's an aggressive tuner. I know that for a fact, isn't he?
Yeah. Yep.
I was just thinking about this today. Your dad, for those of you that don't know Bobby Hilton, I watched him. I can't remember exactly the year anymore. Was it mid to late 70s up here at Great Lakes Dragaway, driving the Gold Digger Top Fuel dragster up here.
Yep. That was it.
What? Just out of curiosity, what are some of the cars that your dad drove? What's his history?
I mean, he drove our family car when he was 16 and crashed it, and then actually crashed it pretty bad and was laid up for like a year, and then went on. He drove the Gold Digger car. He drove the Hot Tuna car. He drove for Jim and Allison, was kind of the big one. They won some big IHRA races with it. And then he went on. He drove the funny car for at Castronova's, a Custom Body Enterprises funny car. He drove a dragster that they took to Australia. So he hopped around in a lot of different cars in a short amount of time. So he had some experience for sure.
Yeah, I heard a story one time that Jim was not Jim was not happy about your dad dating his daughter, and
Yeah.
it all worked out in the end, though, didn't it?
Yeah, that's where I showed up. So
Well, what are you anticipating is gonna what are you anticipating for competition this year? The competition last year was stiff. I mean, I watched what went on down there, and Adam Sorokin, he's always right there, and yeah, I can't figure out how he gets the power out of that little engine that he's got. That is amazing what he does with that.
yeah, it's pretty wild. The competition's stepped up for sure, and I'm not gonna name names because it's almost everybody. We can't really go lightly with anybody anymore. But there's definitely two or three hitters that are coming up and really on our back. But that's okay. That's what makes it fun, the competition. So um, I think it's going to be a pretty tough year, but I think we can get it done.
Well, I was looking at the separation yesterday in the nostalgia funny car side of this whole thing, and it was only a few points separating the top four guys in that. And Jeff Moniz was in four, and he said to me that he missed the championship by 11 thousandths of a second. That's how close it was over there, and he was number four. So I haven't looked at the ladder from last year to see where you guys were at, but I'm assuming it was just as tight.
Yeah, it was tight. We got a little bit of a points lead there at Reading. We got about 120 or 19 points out. So, and then we had that rescheduled Tulsa race they ran during the reunion at Bakersfield. So that kind of put a wrench in it a little bit as far as it being easy to understand. So,
Yeah.
but it all worked out. It all worked out in the end.
So a question for you. I'm sure you saw the announcement that there's the IHRA is attempting to rebuild itself. I'm wondering if any of you nostalgia guys see an opportunity over there on the IHRA side, if there's anything going on, if anybody's approached any of you guys about doing stuff nostalgia wise.
No, I'm not sure, because they did the Nitro Jam deal where they had fuel altereds and funny cars, back whatever 8-10 years ago. But no, not yet, not yet. And I'm not too sure. I haven't been keeping up with it that much, so I'm not the best person to ask. I think, but yeah.
Well, I was just curious if the IHRA is going to step into the nostalgia world too and give us even more racing, or how that's going to happen. But I guess only time will tell what's going to happen there. So down at Bowling Green last year, I'm going to put this clip up here over the top of this. What exactly happened to your dad? I want to make sure I get this right, because when I interviewed Jeff Moniz, I wasn't sure if something fell on him or somebody stepped on him. What happened?
Well, he does the bottom end. That's his. He likes doing the bottom end, so we let him do it. But the guys got tangled up when they were getting the blower and the manifold off, and they just stepped on him by accident. It was a total freak accident, and it sucked. It was not fun, but yeah, they stepped on him by accident. And that's what happened. Nothing got dropped on them, so we'll just clear that up for sure.
Yep.
But yeah, that was kind of a wild deal, because he left, and then it was like, well, what are we going to do? We got to keep going. So we all dug in and got it done.
Did Bartones come over and help you guys a little bit?
Yeah, Tony Labor came over and staged me and did everything for one of the qualifying runs, and then our good friend Jason Bunker showed up for eliminations, and he kind of filled in for eliminations, which was great. He did a really good job helping us out.
Well, it must all worked out because you guys won that race. And it was a tight race too, if I remember right. It was very close. You know what? That race, I was just looking at it earlier. From your point of view, it looked like who was over there? Sorokin? It was
Yeah.
Sorokin, right? He was out on you.
Oh yeah, he was out. I mean, he's a lever, and I've gotten a little better leaving. I'm not going to say I'm the worst lever in the world, but that car leaves, when you hit the gas. And he was out on me till about 1,000 foot, and then that Chrysler just started driving around that Chevrolet. So that's how it worked out. I think it was a 581 to a 589. I think was was the ETs. I think I'd have to look again, but
But
yeah, it was.
we'll put it up here so everybody can see that. But yeah, it's something that car actually. You're right. About 1,000 foot, you just drove right around him.
Yeah, that's the difference between the small block Chevy and a Chrysler, I guess. But that car wins rounds, just off of his driving and off of how it leaves, So you can't ever take them lightly, ever, ever,
Yeah,
ever. So
it's definitely a unique car. Um, so, I mean, you guys are planning on running a full series this year. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Now, I don't know how much you're in the know on this. I did talk to your dad a week ago, and are we going to be able to get 16 top fuel cars down to Bowling Green or some of these events that don't have funny cars at them? I'm a little upset that they pulled the funny cars out of Bowling Green.
yeah, and that had to do with that Legend series and not running Bristol and all sorts of stuff. I don't know. I'm not a funny car guy, but um, uh, yeah, I don't know. I think we could get 16. If not, I know we could get probably 12 or 14. And let everybody run, which wouldn't be a bad thing either. If we could get the cars there to do it. I know of a couple cars that are trying to make it that make that their first race of the year. New cars. So I don't know. We'll see. I think it could happen in the right circumstances.
Well, it'd be cool if we had 16 top fuel cars down at Bowling Green, no doubt about it. It would definitely make up for the loss of the funny car group being down there. And I understand why they're not going to be there with the whole Legends thing. And their Legends isn't in Bristol this year. I understand all that. Is there any chance, and maybe I shouldn't ask this question, is there any chance that Jim Young and his group is ever going to come back to the NHRA?
I don't know. I don't. No comment. I'm not
Uh,
sure. I don't really keep up with them that much either. But
okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't want to turn this into the he said, she said podcast, but I was just
yeah.
curious if you knew if those guys would even consider coming back or. Well, so 2025 is going to be tight competition. We're looking forward to seeing you out on the track. Have you got any? Have you got any good stories about your dad you'd like to close out this podcast with? I'd like to hear. I'd like to hear some family stories here.
Man, I don't know. Kind of put me on the spot there.
I know I did.
I'd have to think about it. Just I don't know. He's given me advice when I needed it, and um, sometimes it's just being more aggressive with what we're doing and being more aggressive driving. And he's given good advice sometimes, and I've followed the advice, and it's worked out in our favor. So I guess that's a little bit of a story.
And did you go to Frank Hawley's drag
Yeah,
racing school? You
yeah.
did.
I
That's
went
where
to Frank's.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm curious what's that like out there? I heard he's a pretty hardcore dude.
Who, Holly?
Yeah.
Oh, he's the best. Yeah, that and anyone who wants to is interested in drag racing and driving should go to that school. I still hear Frank in the back of my head sometimes when I'm driving and staging the car and stuff with the information that he gave. So yeah, that whole program's great. I recommend it to anybody.
Cool. Another question here. Back when you guys were running the big block Chevy, you had full body panels on the car. Is there any plan to dress this car out with full body panels or not?
No, no. And Michael asked us when we bought the car. He thought we were going to, but no. It's just this car is all business. It's just a hot rod coupe, and it's all business. So it that's why we kept the carbon fiber body. We want to paint it, but we don't want to paint it. We kind of like that carbon fiber, and it's just all business now. So
Yeah.
that's how we're going to approach it and approach this year and go for it.
How's your uncle doing with his setup there?
Oh, he's doing great. I think they're going to try to test, and then Bowling Green will be their first race. So they're not going to make it to the March meet, but no, that car has come around. They've made a lot of changes. It qualified good out there at the fall reunion race. He ran a 77 with it, and they didn't hurt really any parts. So yeah, that car is coming around pretty good. It's going to be one to watch out for sure.
How's Mike been doing as a driver? Is he pretty comfortable in the seat?
Oh yeah, he's way comfortable. It's cool to see for sure. He's very laid back as a driver, and nothing really rattles him when he's in the car, which is a good thing. So,
Well, I'm assuming Mike was same as your dad, around drag racing his whole life. So did Mike actually race in the past?
no, he'd never driven. He'd never driven. He'd worked on cars and crewed on some stuff, and he ran dirt cars. He ran dirt karts and sat in a sprint car a couple times. So, but as far as drag racing goes, no, this was his first driving duties in a front motor top fuel car. So,
Is that whole team part of your guys' team, or is he a completely separate deal?
I mean, we share information. We share information, but when it comes time to race, no, we don't share. If we race each other, it's to the bone, you know.
Yeah.
It's wanting to get it on. So
You guys face each other in the finals at all this last year?
not this last year. We did the year before at Tulsa.
Did you?
His first race, so that was pretty neat. That was a cool one.
What's that Tulsa race look like on the 2025 schedule? Is it going to be a good event?
I don't know if it's happening. I'm not 100%
Okay.
sure. So I talked with Mike Rice about it from NHRA, and I'm not totally sure it's going to happen. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I hate to see these races disappear off the schedule. I am going to attempt to get out to Boise this year, do some filming from out there. I keep hearing how fantastic that race is up there on the mountain, and what a great time it is to be there. So I'm going to come on out there and do some filming from out there, I think, this year.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. That's a really fun race.
How much more difficult is it to run at that altitude? Does it really take a lot to change that engine or not?
It's very difficult. It's sometimes the air can be corrected of 6,500 feet, you know, so it's almost like running at Denver. We make some changes when we go up there, head gaskets and things like that. Just some small fine tunes, and then run more nitro is kind of the MO is more nitro. So we kind of get in a sweet spot with nitro and kind of keep it there. So it's tough. It's tough, but they keep that track 100%. That's probably the best track surface we race on. So got to give them that.
Well, I guess all things being even, everybody's got the same struggles as you do when you get up there. So, you know, it sort of levels the playing field, I would think.
Yeah, everyone's on the same track and everyone's in the same conditions. So we all just got to deal with it.
Well, Tyler, I'm hoping to be able to get out there, get credentialed to come out to that race and do some filming. So I'm looking forward to that. What do you think is going to happen this year? Any predictions for me?
We'd love to
ass all the way.
We'd love to win the March meet. That's kind of that's their first race, but that's our goal. You know, we really want to win that race. We've run it up twice. We've been number one qualifier 2 or 3 times. We just really want to get that race behind us, you know, and win it just because it's such a historical race. But that's kind of the goal. If we can do that, start the year off with a bang like that, we'd be good to go. So
it's kind of like winning the U.S. Nationals in the big show, isn't it? Everybody wants to do it, get that monkey off their back.
That's right. That's right.
Well, Tyler, we are looking forward to seeing you out on the track this year. We'll see you at Bowling Green for sure. Hopefully we'll see you up at Boise, and maybe we'll come down in the pits and stick a mic in your face and see how you're doing down there.
That sounds good to me. Anytime.
All right, Tyler, I appreciate you coming on. And next week, everybody, tune back in, and we're going to have Dan Petnato come on and talk about all things fuel altered. So we'll see you then. Take care, Tyler.
All right. Thanks, man, for having me.